Hey, good morning, guys. This morning is a little bit cold outside. Light snow here in Montreal. It's a Saturday morning, November 30th. I just got a new 3D printer last night and taken it out of the box this morning, and I wanted to make this quick video because there's a few things wrong, and I just wanted to show and address, and maybe this will help some other guys in a situation like mine. This video is not to badmouth any companies. It's not my point. It's not my objective. We're buying these printers at very low cost. There's a lot of technology in there, and I know these manufacturers they compete. They compete for that very niche market, and yeah, it is what it is. I mean, we pay a lower price and we get the some quality issues sometimes. But now that I have this Elegoo Neptune 4 Plus in hand, I need to make this to work perfectly, and this is what I'm going to do. So let me see the issues I have with this. First of all, I can see this got the I don't know if the focus will be good, but this have the quality controlled past sticker. No joke, guys. You can't put things like that on your product unless you really have a quality checklist to follow and make sure everything is right. Basic stuff, and this is not issue based on transportation or stuff like that. So just took this out of the box and let me show you. This printer has not been fully assembled. The screws that are holding the nuts for the Z-axis bolts on both sides, they have not been tightened. It's loose. So how the hell on earth can you get this axle parallel to the bed if this printer is not assembled properly? And these are nylon lock nuts, so they didn't come loose on transport. They have not just been bolted on. And it's so off that if I spin the wheels, the carriage wheels, this one is touching the rail. This one here is touching the rail. But this one is loose. It's floating in the air. It's not touching the rail. Same issue on this side. This one is touching the rail. This one is touching the rail. And this one is running free and is not touching the rail. So this axle cannot be properly installed. It cannot be adjusted. We got two Z-axis rods on this. That's perfect. They can be either controlled by the same driver or different driver. It doesn't really care. But the nice thing is that it's got a strap at the top, and it makes the two axes to be permanently attached together. So they have to spin at the same time, and the gantry will be moving perfectly. I like that. But how can you make sure that these two rods are running the axle perfectly parallel to the bed if this is all loose? So once I'm gonna tighten this up and make sure that all three wheels are contacting the rails and everything is nice, this thing is going to be off, and I will need to get this loose or to make sure the strap is in a different position, because I will have to tune the two rods to make sure they are at the exact good position for this to be parallel to the bed. So yeah, you get a quality control past, but this is impossible. It is just not possible to get this thing right if you don't lock the screws in place and make this thing parallel to the bed. So you cannot get this strap on a machine like this when nothing has been done or built properly. So yeah, a few things I'm gonna do to make sure this is, because I don't care about the software and this and how good the mesh is and all that. If the mechanics are not right, you cannot get perfect prints, or at least it's going to be very difficult. if you make this mechanic perfectly straight, like a square to the frame, and make sure that your x-axis is moving parallel to the bed, front and rear and sideways, then it's going to be much easier for the software to get the mesh level right and get proper printing parts. That's my opinion. Mechanics have to be right first before you go on the software side. So I'm gonna get my camera on the tripod and I'm gonna show you just a few things I've checked and I've made before I assemble this and I start playing with this to make this axis parallel to the bed. By the way, just before I move on to the fixing of the Elegoo printer, just you're gonna hear a little bit of noise because I've got another printer that's actually working in this box. Wanted to show you this because I always do my print in a closed environment like this. I'm presently making parts out of PLA Plus that contains a bit of ABS, and I have this 2-inch foam box made for the printer. Keeps the heat inside it, so when I open the door from outside and get cold air coming into the shop, if I open this door, I don't get a blast of cold air going onto my printer and my parts, and this can keep printing. So actually the printer in this box is a Soval SV06 that has been printing and making parts for me for about a year, and I have extremely good quality from this part. I don't run a print farm like some guys for money selling parts. I'm a hobbyist and I do print stuff for myself, mostly radio control modular planes. I've been just trying this winter. It's going to be my first tries, and I'm printing things like this with the Soval, and it's the reason I got the Elegoo to print bigger parts. So this is the beginning of the assembly of a Mirage 2000 RC radio control jet. And a part like this took 16 hours on the Soval SV06, and it's made out of low weight PLE. So I like that stuff. I've been just trying to do things with that stuff. By the way, this is about 19 ounces so far this whole assembly, quite light, okay, including the fin, the rudder, the hinges, and all the first 4 parts of this assembly. So yeah, I'm quite satisfied with this stuff, low weight PLE, and I might try in the future the low weight PLE high temperature, because I will not be able to leave this airplane under the sun. I will have to leave it in the shade because it's regular low weight PLE and it's not very good under high temperature under the sun. So let me show you what I will do with this bed first. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit and hopefully the focus will be right. I want to make sure that this bed is fully parallel to the structure, so when I put the gantry on and I try to adjust the x-axis, I'm gonna have a good base, and I'm gonna be 100% sure that this is right. So first thing, one of the rotor was a little bit loose, and there was a little bit of movement on the platter. So I made sure that this table was tight and I had the free operating movement of this. Second thing, the only reference I have as far as getting things parallel are the 2 rails. I need the rails to be in a certain position to make this all parallel. So the first thing was to get how parallel are the 2 rails from the main assembly, and the main assembly is actually this part here, because the gantry support has probably been cut with CNC machine, is probably very, very straight. So when I'm going to bolt this on, it's going to be square and all right, but this is my first reference for the 2 rails here. So I'm using this 1/4 inch extruded aluminum piece. This is straight, no doubt. It is perfectly straight. And I'm putting this on the rails here, and I am measuring this distance to the aluminum extruded piece. That way I can see if this is parallel this way to the main structure. And actually it's pretty good. I've got like about 842 on one side and 844 on the other side, so that can be like it's a 2000, so that's okay. I cannot like by hand measure perfectly, so that it's probably right on or a few thousand off. I'm okay with that. But then the next thing is to make sure the bed is parallel to the rails, and in order to check that out, I removed the PEI metal sheet because it could induce a few thousand mistakes here and there. But what I did is that I measured from this point to this point, this point to this point, and I've got it on all four corners. And measuring it is quite easy. I take several measures, but I just put this on the bed and I run it down until it touches the middle piece. And my average for this side is around 120, 122, and for this side is around 122 to 124. So, and it's same thing at the back. It's a little bit higher on this side than on this side. It's 20,000, but 20,000 on this portion of the bed, then it's probably 30,000 on the whole bed. And in order to acknowledge that, I'm putting the bar. Just remember, I measured this to this reference point, and it's about 2,000. But when I put it on the bed here, and I measure here and here, I got between 30 and 40,000, which makes sense. If I got about 20,000 here, and I go all the way to the side, I get between 30 and 40,000 here. So what I'm going to do, I'm either going to lower this or raise this. I'm not sure. I'm going to look at the bottom how tight these are, and I think I'm going to raise this side, so it's going to give me a little bit more room to play when I'm going to do the adjustment with the paper. So yeah, I think I'm going to raise this a little bit. So I'm going to make these fine adjustments and get back to you for the next step. So I have now adjusted the bed, so I've got 1.22 on each four corners. So I'm pretty damn sure that this thing is moving parallel to the rails, and it is definitely parallel to this side, which is going to be much easier for the software to get the mesh level. By the way, there are three wheels on here you can adjust, and to adjust the center one, I used my extrusion like this. And when you look through the side, if this gets too low, you're going to see the light coming in between the rail and the bed floor here. And if it's too high, you're going to see that it's not touching on either one side. So I played with this until I see a little bit of light coming in, and then I raised it until it touches the bar, and this is now perfectly flat both sides. So I think with the kind of adjustments I have on this machine, I'm pretty well done with the bed, and it's probably the most accurate I can do given this machine and the type of tools I have to measure. So I will assemble the gantry and start working on this axis and see how I'm going to solve the different issues there. So I placed the gantry on, and I also placed the support on. I know I'm changing a little bit the order of the instruction manual because I didn't add the print head and so on, but I want to make sure I fix this first. So this is now fixed in place, as I said, and I spun the bolts to make the axis go down, so I can reach the screws and tighten them like they're supposed to be. Look at this loose I have here because this is not tightened at the back. And I will also have to tighten these wheels to make sure that this assembly contacts on each side, because some of the wheels are floating and they're not touching. But in order to, before I do this, I will tighten the screws, and I will also loosen up these a little bit so that these two wheels can move as I will tighten here and make sure I have a good contact, but neither one of the wheels will have more pressure on the side. I want to have even pressure, and I suspect that they are not at the right position, and just the loose and this bolt will catch up and give away a little bit of movement, so I have a good pressure on each roller when I will tighten up the interior one. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to tell you how it went. So I loosened up the screws, and even if I try to adjust with this, I don't have even pressure, so it really tells me that this is off 90 degrees definitely, and it's because it is not parallel to the bed. So I took another aluminum channel, and I cut this piece from this one, so I know this is exactly the same extrusion width. It's the same, so I'm going to use it on this side, so it's going to be the same 8th, and I'm going to lower this axis until it touches, and we're going to see if this is off or not, or if it's just like a few thousand. So moving this, because of the strap up there, it moves both rod, and there's nothing I can do. I cannot move them independently. They're attached through that strap. So I don't know if you can see. I'm gonna try to make it so. Okay, now it barely touched the extrusion, and when I go on the other side, then you can see I've got close to 1/16. It's probably like 50,000 difference, and there's no way you can adjust this if you don't loosen up on that strap and rotate this axis. I've bolted the brass pieces. I've bolted it on so that this was not done, and now I know that I'm okay with this rod. It is strong and tight. So I don't know, maybe I need to remove the strap. There's a small set screw here. Maybe I can loosen the set screw and get one of these to rotate freely, so I can adjust the other side and then tighten the set screw after. Anyway, I will find a way. Even if I have to take off all the parts, I'll have to do it, because this strap is not indexed properly, and it cannot be, like, I'm not gonna rely on the software to fine-tune like 50,000 of difference on this axis. I need to make this parallel to my bed, which I know now is parallel to the structure, because I've put enough time on getting this parallel. So I'm gonna do this, and I'll let you know how it turned out. So that was pretty easy. I loosened up 2 set screws on this pulley here, so it got loose on the shaft, and I turned the axles until I get both sides barely touching the aluminum extrusion, and then I tried to retighten the wheels to make sure they had a similar friction, all 3 of them. This one was a little bit weird. I couldn't really adjust it, so I had to unscrew the bracket. The bracket was probably not at the right position, so there are 2 screws. I loosened them up, and I moved the bracket a little bit, so I could make sure that both rollers have similar friction. One was very tight, and the other one was still loose, so I readjusted that bracket, and once I had these rollers perfectly in place. I mean, tight, but it needs to run smooth. You don't want this over tight, because you're gonna get the motors to have too much work to do to move the this head hub. So yeah, I made everything tight and nice. I made sure that they were both touching the extrusion, just barely touching the extrusion. So I almost moved this side by 1/16, probably like 50,000. So now I have a perfectly parallel axis to the bed. The bed is definitely parallel this way, so I know the leveling from the software is going to probably be much easier to do, and I'm going to have much better prints with this machine. So now that I'm satisfied with the mechanics of this, I'm going to complete the assembly as per the instruction. I'm going to boot it up and see if I can print something out of this machine. So here it is now, printing, doing the first print. I did all the assembly as per the instruction. I'm using a white fast PLA sample that was supplied with the machine. Everything seems to be working very good. I seem to have good bed adhesion. So yeah, I'm gonna print this benchy, see how it looks like, and then after that I'm gonna do the vibration pattern analysis on both axes, and I will then start tuning my slicer for this machine so I can print low weight PLA with it. And I will definitely make a styrofoam box like I have for the SV06 right here to cover this machine, so it's not too noisy, but it is noisy, and it's gonna make it quieter for me working in the shop, and keep the temperature inside around the machine. Thanks for watching, guys. So here it is, the machine just finished printing the benchy. It says 24 minutes, but I don't think it took that long. But anyway, the G-code was mentioning 18 minutes. I'm okay with that. I'm not setting up my printers to print fast. I just want good quality print, and that's it. So yeah, I had a good bed adhesion. I will have to check for with a bigger print to see if I got adhesion all over the plate, but that's gonna be later on, maybe tomorrow afternoon. I have to leave for the day now. So yeah, kind of tough with the camera, but it should, yeah, just popped out. Yeah, not bad. Maybe a little bit. Not sure. No, it's not under extruded. That's okay. That's a nice little benchy for that speed. A little bit of stringing, but well, what can you expect when you do a part that fast? But anyway, this is not what I am printing, but it looks good. I'm very satisfied. We're gonna keep tuning this machine. By the way, at the front here, I just realized after the beginning of the printing that I had not put the cooling fan switch to on, and when you print with PLA at that speed, you really need to cool the part, so that big fan really helped. I just flipped the switch as it was printing, and it went much better for the remaining of the benchy. Yeah, that's good. I'm happy. So have a good weekend, and I have new things to post about this printer. I will do so.